It's hard to imagine Buffalo without the Bills. That was the unfortunate reality for Bills Mafia in 2014. Our future was in question.
We begin with breaking news today.
Today, Ralph Wilson passed away at the age of 95. Wilson had a relentless passion, a deep love for the Bills, the city of Buffalo, the National Football League. He also loved Bills fans and all the people of Western New York who embraced the Buffalo Bills.
You know, when Mr. Wilson passed, it was understood that the team was going to be sold. And
when I heard the team was going for sale, I was concerned.
You get a little worried because you know how the fan base is here.
Their passion for sports, these are the Buffalo Bills.
There was a deep sense of anxiety that was permeating all of Western New York.
That fear of the unknown. You don't know what's going to happen next.
This team is incredibly important to Buffalo, and it was critical that it ended up in the hands of the right owners.
Amy, what's your take on football in Toronto?
Well,
there was so much drama that kind of came out of that with the different buying groups.
Obviously, there were other bidders.
We know this morning Donald Trump.
John Bon Jovi had significant interest about trying to purchase that team.
These people who were not Buffalo-minded.
It was my feeling, and I think a lot of people's feelings, that if someone bought the Bills, might have a keen interest in moving them from the area.
This team's not going to end up in Buffalo. This team's going to end up LA or Toronto or, wherever.
I know it's a small market, and I know where the NFL is headed, but that's Buffalo. That's history. That's traditioning.
The thing about it was, I knew we would find somebody that would be a part of keeping the Bills in Buffalo.
Welcome to Buffalo! We had already bought the Sabres, and we had quite a few discussions, Kim and I, on the Bills.
In this world, you don't find too many owners that own a hockey team and a football team. It's not that way. And so when I heard that name, I was like, it has to go that way.
Okay, good afternoon.
It didn't take long at all here at the NFL owners meetings in Lower Manhattan Wednesday. Kim and Terry Pegula were ushered into the meeting room at 8:40 this morning. Less than 2 minutes later, there was audible applause.
We approved the Buffalo Bills transfer to Terry and Kim Pegula. That was approved unanimously.
It was very exciting.
I think you could hear a collective sigh of relief across all of Western New York.
The Pegulas, they had everything we were looking for.
Well, they have a great reputation, and they're committed to Western New York, and I think they're going to be great owners in this league.
They have been absolutely wonderful to work with, and everything has been first class through the process.
Someone had bought the Bills who had already made a generational investment in our community.
They were committed. We knew they had staying power. We knew that they cared about Buffalo.
We all knew that the Bills belonged to Buffalo, and there's no way fate would ever allow it to be different.
My name is Terry Pegula, and the Pegulas just bought a football team. Actually, that's not totally correct.
Emotions ran high that day, and we all celebrated together as one family.
I can remember Terry being on the stage, man, and then he looked at me, and because I knew at that time the transition from Mr. Wilson to the Pegulas, that was it. And I started to choke up a little bit, and he looked directly at me.
I knew this was gonna happen.
It was finally here for him to keep the Bills here in Buffalo.
We all just bought a team. Our team, the Buffalo Bills.
I think obviously when you own two teams, you have to try to learn the community, be part of the community. They heard that there were great folks here in the city of Buffalo.
On October 12, 2014, the Pegulas were officially introduced to Bills Mafia.
That was one of the loudest times I remember ever being in the stadium.
Intimidating. First off, we have my dog Sydney on the leash. He gets spooked by all the noise, backs out of his collar and takes off. So I'm looking around, where's my dog? Where'd my dog go? And then I finally realized, well, he's probably not going to get out of the stadium,
Well, it was packed. They were just really excited because they knew that the Pegulas were committed to Buffalo.
Okay, guys, we got a game today.
The elation, just the excitement about our future was set now. Because I remember he said at the outset, like, the Bills aren't going anywhere. Knowing that was part of the equation to begin with, no doubt, was just, we could finally, for the first time, exhale and say, oh, they're our Bills. They're going to stay our Bills.
Standing on that field, it was a little intimidating to me. I'm thinking, there's no way I'm ever going to exceed what Ralph accomplished with the Bills.
I must say that there aren't too many times in life that I'm happy with being second at anything.
Knowing that Ralph owned the team since 1960.
But I can tell you, I said, I will never forget what you said on the field.
But to follow Ralph Wilson, I'll accept that.
That moment, it just brings chills to me.
I remember just thinking, like, the future is a blank canvas. Everything we've ever known about the Buffalo Bills up to this point, good or bad, it's all going to change now. Just the excitement of not knowing what the future holds. You don't get that too often as a sports fan, that you're getting a reset button.
Owning a professional sports team doesn't come without challenges. Finding the right head coach and general manager to rebuild the culture was vital.
Welcome. Thank you for coming out today as we announce the arrival of our new coach. He is a smart, thorough, decisive, faith-based winner. So I introduce you to Sean McDermott.
Sean was first, and I know I'm hiring a football coach, but what stood out to me on his resume was he was a two-time national prep wrestling champ, back-to-back years, and I'm thinking to myself, this guy's a pit bull.
Good afternoon. I'd like to thank Terry and Kim Pegula for having the confidence in me to give me this opportunity.
We may have all come on different ships, but guess what? We're in the same boat now.
Then Brandon, the experience he had, 19 years with Carolina, plus he had worked with Sean, and I thought that was important too.
This is an awesome opportunity, and I can't wait to get started.
I understand the expectations that come with a job of this magnitude, and I accept that challenge.
How do you build a team? You develop trust.
The hiring of Sean McDermott and Brandon Beane, I don't think you can quantify how important it was to the franchise. There's a reason why we call them McBeane.
Beginning today,
I'm looking to build a culture.
My sole focus is
of winning, and that starts inside these walls and extends to our community.
It does seem like they have the same understanding of not only what kind of players they want to bring into the roster, but what kind of people.
It's well known Buffalo is not a destination city, and so how are we going to do this and make people want to come to Buffalo?
I'm counting on each and every one of you, and we'll do this thing together.
Terry and Kim, they're great listeners, and they're interested in the why behind things.
You need somebody with that feedback. That's part of the relationship between a head coach, a general manager, and an owner.
The very first thing we did here, they gave us a lot of money to build a whole scouting system. We had ideas to make this top 2, top 3 in the league, really set the foundation for how we were going to get players in here, either through the draft, free agency, and such.
Kim.
November 28th, we are at Dallas for the Thanksgiving game.
Ooh. And so you try and in the first year get the right energy in the building the right way, and then that continues really every year so that the culture helps us thrive.
And I was convinced that they were willing to do whatever it took. They wanted to hear how I saw it, and you know, they had ideas of their own, even down to sports performance. Kim was really into that.
It was not hard to see what they're building. It was a dramatic turnaround to see where the team was when they purchased it to where it is now.
When people come here and they see the facility the way it is and the way that the ownership provides for them to be the best version of themselves, I think that's very evident that
the Pegulas are into winning, and as long as it works within our cap and our cash structure, they'll do anything, and that gives us an advantage, you know, because I know not all 32 teams have that.
There was a lot of respect and reverence for them at every NFL meeting because that's not easy to do, especially when you've had 17 straight seasons of missing the playoffs.
Inheriting a playoff drought isn't easy. Ending one is even harder.
I always joke and I call them the dark times, because just even the way they began with the Music City Miracle was just such a lousy way to end a season, and then for that to be the last playoff memory we would have for the next 17 years.
When we first arrived, I remember being in the community and one of the parents, they said, "Hey, so glad you're here. I love this team." And they said, "Can you just win so that my son or my daughter knows why I root for this team?" And I kind of laughed it off because it hadn't sunk in yet. What they were saying was, growing up in the early 90s, this team is everything to them. And their 8, 9-year-old son or daughter had not experienced the playoffs.
I remember explaining to my daughter, and she goes, "Why do you continue to watch the team and cheer for the team when all they do is lose?" I said, "Honey, when the Bills win, this city comes alive. You will see someday. I know you'll see it someday."
The 2017 Bills exceeded expectations, but needed a win in Miami and some help from Cincinnati to end a 17-year playoff drought.
I was at the game. I was at the game in Miami, and we wanted to be there just in case everything happened.
Now walks it into the end zone, got a man right over the rear, he's got it, touchdown! Touchdown! Brought down, sack back at the 19-yard line. First and goal from the one, they give it to Kyle Williams, goes into the end zone.
I remember watching the Bills win and then immediately switching over to the Bengals playing the Ravens.
Hey, get the game on the TV in here. I'm gonna let you guys watch the game. When this game's over, we will bring it up, no matter what, right? And no matter what, we keep our chins up.
Final minutes, Andy Dalton throws an interception.
Dalton slings it downfield, and it's intercepted.
Baltimore got an interception. That's it.
And all of a sudden, there's a penalty.
Looking at a 4th down and 12.
It goes to 4th and 12, and you're like, what are the odds this is going to work out?
Season on the line, playoffs at stake.
And I remember almost like it happened in slow motion the first time I saw it.
Dalton catches the football, he's back to throw. It's complete, caught by Boyd.
The catch by Tyler Boyd and just the missed tackle.
Oh my God!
I was sitting there like, okay, we got the first, oh no, we got a touchdown.
Tyler Boyd, touchdown, remarkable!
I couldn't believe he scored.
I remember the entire house screaming and yelling, and some of us were crying.
And there's clips of me in Hard Rock Cafe on a chair saying the drought is over. And obviously they showed a scene in the locker room.
And seeing Kyle Williams with his kids in the locker room, and just that whole roster is just set in my mind. They were the ones that did it.
It was a long 17 years. I don't think I've ever cried at a sporting event, but I might have shed a tear that day.
We win that game to secure the first playoff spot in 17 seasons and come back, and it was not warm. It was pretty chilly outside. I can vividly see walking off that plane, and you heard before you saw. Like, holy cow, how many people are out here? I mean, it was, again, chills are running down my back right now.
There's so much that comes out of sports, right? And one of them is the connection that the families have. And I think that really is what makes sports special, but also the Buffalo Bills special.
When you go from Buffalo Bill fans to Bills Mafia, oh, you gotta love that.
Western New Yorkers not only celebrating with each other, but they're sharing the love, throwing tens of thousands of dollars in support to a foundation started by Andy Dalton.
Yeah, that was so much fun. Again, that tells you so much about Buffalo. We're such a giving city.
This is us. This is Buffalo. I think we've shown today in 2018 what Buffalo can be, not just as a football team, but as a greater city itself.
And just like that, the drought was over. But the work had just begun.
The slogan we used was sustained success. How do we do it? We talked about what went well during the drought, what didn't go well, why do we think there's been such a long drought? And so we obviously talked about the quarterback. We have to find a quarterback. And if you find that, you build around it. That's where I really knew, they get it.
We went to see all 5 of the top candidates.
First time meeting the Pegulas was in Laramie at the Cavalrymen. They were there for an official visit and a pro day.
He flew into Denver. He flew from California to Denver. We were already at University of Wyoming, and his ride didn't show up. Josh rented a car and drove up himself. I think we ate dinner that night at 10 or 10:30 because quick as he could get there, but he got there. You know, some of these young kids might bag it and say, you know what, I can't make it. I had some bad luck here. My plane was late or whatever. So maturity, I would call that, able to think on his feet, get to where he had to go.
Very cool to meet them there. They were very humble, very low-key. During the workout, Terry was on the field with his iPhone following me as I'm dropping back. I'm pretty sure he still got those videos. But to see the 2 owners of the team be so involved in what's going on, it definitely had a really, really cool vibe to it, and how it's carried over the last few years as well.
You're not going anywhere unless you have a quarterback. I think it was first or second day I saw him throw, and I'm like, wow, this guy can sling it.
You look at his film, throwing from the far hash to the left sideline, some of the rockets he threw, you know, his arm is elite.
We waited for Josh Allen for so long, and we deserve a player of that caliber under center.
With the 7th pick in the 2018 NFL Draft, the Buffalo Bills select Josh Allen, quarterback, Wyoming.
Miss Pegula, how are you doing? Hey Josh. Good to see you.
You were my first quarterback visit.
Yeah.
So I'm so happy. Like, we didn't need to go on any other visits, but
yeah.
Happy that you are here as a Buffalo Bill. Are you going to be coming here tomorrow as a Buffalo Bill? And so excited, and I know it's a big day for you.
I can't thank you enough. This is the biggest moment in my life. I'm super proud to be a Buffalo Bill, and I'm going to make you guys proud, I promise you.
It's not only just the drought of the playoffs, but the drought between Jim Kelly and Josh Allen was even longer. And for us to finally have that marquee franchise quarterback leading the team, and not only just leading the team, but a part of the community, somebody who gets Buffalo.
What you see is what you get. He is not trying to impress. He wants to impress on the field, that's for sure. He's just so natural, and he's very much like the people of Buffalo.
I mean, I could go on and on. Josh Allen is one of those blue-collared quarterbacks that the Bills have been waiting for many years.
I tell you what, this is a guy who I want leading my franchise. I mean, he's meant that much to, you know, not only me, the fans around here, but people around the world. They know who the Buffalo Bills are, and it's because of Josh Allen.
Bills Mafia waited a long time for Josh, who was determined to make them proud. In 2020, Josh led the Bills to their first division title in 25 years.
Fires into the end zone, caught. Touchdown, Buffalo. The Buffalo Bills are champions of the AFC East for the first time in 25 years.
When we went in Denver during COVID, that was the first time we're going to win the division. It was so sad that our fans were having to watch from home and not be able to attend these games, but they'd had enough. You weren't going to hold them back anymore, and so to come back after securing the first AFC East title from Denver was another epic scene.
Everybody, I mean, there was thousands of people, you know, and it was probably 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning when we landed. I know it was late, but I walked outside the airplane, felt like I was like John Lennon from the Beatles, you know, put my hand up and everyone went crazy. And something I'll never forget, I'm pretty sure I ran over a few people's feet that day. It was just an awesome experience, and I don't think you get that anywhere else.
This is a passionate fan base that loves their team. I just think it's really special to have broken that playoff streak, number one. But then beyond that is say, hey, listen, we got a chance to win every Sunday because of the way things are done and the people that are in that building.
Josh on the run, jumps over a man.
Oh, what a run by Josh Allen. Sliding catch made by Hyde for the pick.
The fireworks go off. The Bills go back to the playoffs.
The Buffalo Bills won 4 straight AFC East titles with Bills Mafia there every step of the way.
Every coach or GM or owner says their fans are the best. Find me one better.
For the community, just it ushered in a whole new group of Bills fans. This era that we have now, 2020 through the current season, it's so special.
What I'm most proud of here is the type of team that we've continued to build here in Buffalo, and being a part of a very family-like atmosphere in Buffalo, letting the guys that are new here understand what it means to play here in this community and how to embrace the fans that have embraced us so much over the last few years.
With the success on the field came generosity off the field.
We have a great team that we love and that is easy to love right now in this current era of success, but also a team that loves us back. It's a real mutual relationship I feel like we have, whether it's their response to May 14th, how the team went down to that Tops on Jefferson, and how they just embraced the community. The community always embraces the Bills.
The only thing that I think might rival the amount of positive energy that the team generates is the work that the Pegula family does to benefit our communities. They clearly want to make Western New York a better place, and they've been a stellar partner in that effort.
With Give 716, the Day to Give Back in Buffalo, they're always a huge leader in trying to raise as much money as they can, and the various charity organizations that they give to throughout the year.
Josh Allen has embraced O'Shea, and all these players, they have all of these different charities that they support and these different causes they want to support, whether it's a specific charity or just an overall cause. It's really special.
The amount that they've raised, not just for some of the things that we did for the Buffalo Bills, like tomorrow.
The World basically raised $1 million for his nonprofit. Even more than that, started this entire trend, not in Western New York, but around the country, around the world, about CPR awareness, how it's so important. It's been an amazing thing to witness.
When did you see the shift of Bills fans becoming very charitable? And
well, I mean, that's a good question, because maybe they always were, but it's become more visible.
I think that's one of the things that I really love about this community and Bills Mafia is that it's not only that we're helping this community here, we're helping communities in every city that we go to, and you don't see that a lot. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen it.
I met so many fans that were so giving, that were all walks of life. When you get that visibility, it just snowballs, I think.
The way that the Pegulas have kind of led the way through all this and embraced it, obviously Give 716 doesn't happen without their sign-off. It's been a great marriage with the Pegulas' ownership of the Bills and the Western New York community.
Buffalo is very fortunate to have people like Terry and Kim and the Pegula family to be leading this organization, because they are fully invested, fully committed to this team and this city, and I think that's evident with the stadium.
In 2022, the Pegulas doubled down on their commitment to Western New York and announced the construction of the new Highmark Stadium.
Obviously, something needed to be done with this stadium. It's been here a long time. It's outdated.
Highmark Stadium, being 50+ years old now, has kind of outlived the standard length of time for an NFL stadium.
My family grew up in Jamestown. I know how important the Bills are to the persona of this region. From my perspective, this is extremely important to the people and to the region.
Look, when I left here 15 years ago, there were a lot of questions about whether this team would still be in Buffalo. And I can't imagine this city without it.
As we approach the time for a new stadium, we also know there's a little bit of a vulnerability. Them buying the team was important, committing to Buffalo was important, but all I knew is that I had to make sure with this renegotiation of a deal in a new stadium that they would stay.
The Pegulas, the state, the city, so much goes in to believing this, because you have to get the support of everyone.
That stadium means that question's been answered. It's amazing to look across the street and see where this franchise is today compared to where it was 15 years ago.
To me, it just is a signal of their level of commitment and their determination to get that done for the fan base.
I want to thank New York State and Erie County, and specifically Governor Hochul, for your tremendous support. I mean tremendous. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. And also Mark Holencars, thank you.
This is an extraordinary community. They deserve an extraordinary stadium. The Bills are now secured in Western New York, and that's something that we should all take great pride in.
This site where we have gathered has been the location of Buffalo Bills games for the last 50 years. At the conclusion of the new lease, the Bills will be playing on this property for 83 years. We need to fill this stadium with more memories and continue our legacy. We should remember the past, but embrace the building of our future.
In the beginning, it was like, it's hard to leave here, because so many memories here.
Where else would you rather be than right here, right now?
He would be so proud. And again, Ralph would be happy that it doesn't have a dome. because Ralph did not want a dome here.
You know, I know there was even talk of whether it would go downtown or not, and you know, I think this is the perfect location for what our fans like, the tailgate scene.
And I've gone to my share of away games, and I found myself in some downtown parking lot or underpass or somewhere wherever everybody's grilling the hot dogs and get ready to go into the game. It's not the same. What we have here is special.
Visiting teams do like coming here. There's a challenge of facing Bills Mafia, so to have this new home for Bills Mafia to come in, and I know our players are excited about it. Although it's not done yet, every day you drive by there, it seems like it's getting closer and closer, and it's going to be an exciting day when the team runs out of the tunnel.
Well, I'm disappointed that I won't have an opportunity to play in it. I'm more disappointed about that because I won't be one of the few players that was saying I played in both stadiums.
It's the details. You know, they're committed to this Built for Buffalo process. They don't want to lose the charm of the current stadium, but they want to make the stadium better, more advanced, a better experience for the fans. So they've carefully walked that line, and it's apparent in every detail in that building.
When we originally thought of the idea of needing a new stadium, all you have to do now is walk around here. You don't realize how big of a project this is until you see this steel going up. So we're close to the Bills sideline here, right? So you can look up and see how much steeper and closer the stadium is, especially the premium seating hanging over the field. And then when the canopy goes on top, it's going to cover 65% of the seating. Our fans are going to have a much different experience than in the current Highmark Stadium. Yeah. Main concourse.
Main concourse.
Okay, so here's what we're talking about. Looking at the field,
Yeah.
Josh throws a 40-yarder, and you turn around, you hear the fans cheering. You turn around.
This is a great spot. Great spot.
What's it like for you to come here and see your vision come to life?
It's, you know, I have mixed emotions about it because you know why. I wish Kim was here with us.
So everybody here, we're gonna break it down. Josh is gonna break it down for us with Kim and Terry here. Here we go.
Appreciate you guys for coming out today. We love you guys. We respect you. And thank you guys. Ready? Real Bills on 3. 1, 2, 3, Bills!
You know, Kim and I were always partners. She's obviously had her health situation and she's not 100% what she used to be, but I just wish and pray. I know there's a lot of people praying for her. Hopefully she continues to improve, which she is doing every day.
The thing that you notice, that I noticed very quickly in my time at the Bills about Kim was how she's a very caring person and really builds those relationships so she gets to know the people that are around our organization.
But she still had that motherly instinct. She'd walk into the draft room on draft day with fresh baked cookies, and you're like, Kim, who made these and when did you do this? And she's like, I got up at 4 this morning. I'm like, we left here at 12:30 last night.
She was spending time after hours, well past the time when you would normally go home, ducking her head into a meeting room on the coach's end of things with 2 of our young intern coaches. And I'm sure you don't see that everywhere around the NFL. Someone as busy as the owner can take the time out of her schedule in this case to look in on 2 young interns and check in on them, how they're doing, what their story is.
Shows you not only is she a great leader, but she's a great person to her core, and I've learned so much from her.
Kim's presence is still prominent and resonated throughout the organization, keeping in line with the generations of integrity.
This is the kind of culture Ralph created and Terry and Kim are continuing, the realization of the absolute perfect ownership. Terry is very much like Ralph, very understated, he was determined, and he was always very considerate.
Yeah, I never met Ralph, but I feel like he's a friend of mine.
And I saw the integrity of this organization, and it's exactly what Ralph always wanted to build.
To be honest with you, when I heard it was 10 years, I'm like, what? It flies by. I mean, when you win, everything goes quickly.
There's literally not a city in the country where its football team means more than here in Buffalo, and what's been built and what Terry and his family have done.
They're so ingrained in the culture and the persona of the people, and that's what's so exciting for us to be a part of, because you really feel it when you're in Highmark Stadium.
What the Pegulas have done to Western New York, being able to build this franchise and bring back those winning traditions.
There are times in your life where you have opportunities to make a real difference, and sometimes it might be one-on-one with somebody. Very rarely do you have an opportunity to affect literally hundreds of thousands of people.
They have given this team, this city, this region, every chance in the world to win a Super Bowl. And when that day happens, it's going to be awesome for everyone here.
Oh, man. You're talking about bringing a Super Bowl here, and because we have the older Bills fans, and now we have a ton of younger fans, and you put them together, I mean, it would be something special.
I want to win a Super Bowl for our players, our coaches, our fans. It's time for Buffalo to win a major championship, and we're close.